the Free State in the Ncop, the MPLs of the Free State who are part of this detergent were all part of the problem which we had. I think that I can now formally say that this meeting is in order. We can start with the proceedings. What I like to do, as we do when we open the formal meetings of Parliament, is that to give each and every individual person a moment of silent prayer or meditation so that we can start formally as this sitting which we're having today. Can you observe that? Thank you. Honorable members who are here in this house, first of all, I'd like to appreciate each and every person who was behind this program. In particular, the delegates from of the Free State from the Ncop. The 6 of us were here throughout the entire program. Also appreciate the members of the Provincial Legislature who didn't only come but worked with us throughout since Tuesday during the briefing, even up to this day. I think that your input will always be appreciated, and then it will always be appreciated, and then we'll try by all means possible that the opinions you articulated during this visit is found as encapsulation in our report. And number 2, also, I'd like to thank profusely the executive, the ESCO of the Free State, in particular the Premier, who was able to bring her MECs who are involved with the infrastructure. Not only the MECs, also the heads of department and the directors who were responsible for the various projects which we had. I think that one shows that the Free State government is committed in dealing with these issues of the backlog and the challenges which the Free State is facing. Also really appreciate the Speaker of the province, because it is him who welcomed us into this sitting, and then he was able to say what I like most, what I can take from what he said here, is that we might come from different political parties, but once the elections are done and dusted, we become the members of Parliament and the members of legislature, of which we must all serve our people with dignity and devotion and dedication. I think that aspect was very important. And then that aspect which he raised, I did see it during the proceedings which followed. I was actually very appreciative that each and every individual MP and the political parties, they raised the issues of their constituency very sharply, which is good. That's what democracy is all about, is that the voice of the voters must find expression in the legislature and in Parliament. And then during this provincial week, that voice was heard throughout. But that voice was heard throughout. But what is also critical is that we met with the project implementing agents and the contractors. As we met with them, we could see the challenges. Some of the challenges are not from the side of the contractors. Some are from the side of government itself. The supply chain management and the processes which they undertake to do certain things, they took too long, and then there's nothing worse. In South Africa, slavery is abolished. You cannot have slavery. But when people are going to work without being paid, it's a serious violation of a human right. It's a serious violation of the human rights. I think that, and then the very same constitution we're having, it gives them a right to protest. A right to protest. The right to mass mobilize and protest is in the constitution. It's protected. So we have to understand that. But apart from also those workers and contractors who got a short end of the stick, there are also certain contractors who actually do not know what they're doing. Actually, we can see that in some projects, you can see that there's looting of industrial scale level, of which it is the duty of the legislatures to ensure that that type of behavior is kept, is nipped from the bud. And there's no other people who can do it better than us. Because when you look at the constitution, This Constitution of South Africa is very good, ne? Because it separates the power. Yes, that you know. Or it separates the power between the various arms of the state. We have the judiciary, we have the legislature, we have also the executive. So because of these three arms of the state, each and every arm of the state has the distinct function which it has to execute. One, we as the legislatures, we have to craft the laws. We have to oversight the executive. That is our exclusive right. So as the national sphere, as the Ncop, we have a right to oversight the national executive. That's why before we came in here, as the Ncop, we called all the ministers who are involved with infrastructure development in the country so that they come and tell us, as the Ncop, what is wrong with the implementation of infrastructure in South Africa. Because each and every day lost is an opportunity cost for a better service for our people. They came and explained, we appreciated that. But it was not only the ministries which were invited. The offices of the Auditor General was also invited so that they can give us in detail what is it as the custodian of the, not as the overseer of the books of the government of South Africa. What are the problems? They highlighted the problems. We did see the problem, they highlighted that. That's why when we came in here, we were better informed. But as we did that as the Ncop, we didn't do it on our own. We did invite the speaker and the legislature to go to Cape Town so that when we come in here, we're on the same page, what we want to do. But what is also very important is that this issue of the executive at the end of the day is the one which is the implementer, because they have to craft the policy, come with a budget and implement it. Our job is to oversight their policies which they have adopted. We have to oversight the budgets which they're executing on the ground. So we'll do it on the side of the national. Here in the province, the provincial legislature is preserved that all the projects, the budget of the exco of the Free State, they must oversee it. And then there's no one who must be able to stand in their way when they're doing that job. So even when we come here as the permanent delegates of the Ncop of the Free State, we're not coming here to take over the work of the committees of the provincial legislature. They have to continue doing their work. Their portfolio committees must work. That's why whatever we have found on the ground, it is them who must oversight it and ensure that the responsible MEC implement what is supposed to be done. I'll make a simple example. When we were there at the piggery in Tabanchu, that piggery was an eyesore. It was sad day indeed to have observed what happened there in Tabanchu. But what I liked about that, the Premier was there. The Premier was able to say that within the next 3 weeks, she will have coordinated all the stakeholders around that project so that people can take ownership who dropped the ball, because that's what is important, consequence management, who dropped the ball. But what I like with this visit is that when we ask the people there, the beneficiaries of the project, they are still interested, they want that project. So it means that the portfolio committees of finance here in the Free State, the portfolio committee of agriculture, the portfolio committee of infrastructure public works must ensure that the ducks are lined in order so that that project is resuscitated and it's going to serve the people. That's what it's all about. But what is also very important is that our constitution also gives us 3 spheres of government. When we're speaking about 3 spheres of government, we speak about the national, provincial, and local. These spheres are equal. There's no sphere which is better than the other one. So what is critical here is that that's why the Constitution enjoins all of us that the different spheres of government must work with each other in such a way that they respect the territory of each sphere and then they work closely with each other, because we like it or not. No, a project just like that project of the police stations, it's a national project. but that national project is happening in a particular province. And then in that particular province, that project is happening in a particular municipality. So the issue of the intergovernmental relations is very critical. So there is no sphere of government which must be treated as a Cinderella. So, but what must happen is that we have to learn to coordinate with each other. But very fortunately, the law is there. Is there. But what you find that when we, as we did here, Honorable Provincial Whip, you find that sometimes those things are blurred, you know. So it is our duty to ensure that we reinforce that, you know. But as I'm saying that, Chair, we are here today to reflect about what has transpired. The report, we have a draft report. This draft report must be distributed. I think that to all the delegates of the permanent delegates of the Free State, the report is there. We did receive it, the report is there. But what is critical here is that this thing was not only done by us. What I'd like to have happening here, to see happening here, is that I like that when we come back next time, we're going to have an oversight week at the Ncop. How can we perfect, improve the way we've done with this first land provincial week? So that's why I like to give each and every political party which participated in this program to give an opinion. So it means that if it's a political party, I expect only one person, the leader of the party concerned, that he must give an opinion. What is it? How was the program? And then what did they see? What do they recommend in moving forward? So that that thing can be built in to the next oversight week when we come back. And then without further ado, and then on the issue of the report itself, the report is not going to be adopted today. The report is still going to be processed on the side of the permanent delegates when we go to Cape Town. That report is going to be debated in November. That's why this morning, that's why we're a little bit late here. This morning, basically the Ncop was sitting, giving a reflection of what each and every province has experienced. All these members of the permanent delegates were there in the Zoom meeting. What has transpired out of that is that from where I'm seated, but it might be a subjective opinion, but on my side is that the Ncop has done good with this program. Because when you look to all the entire provinces, we're able to extract the problematic projects which are there. Because remember that if a housing development is delayed by 10 years, it means that those people who are staying the check, they had an opportunity cost of not being in a formal structure for 10 years. So which is wrong. And then what is also critical out of that is that the cost of materials, the cost of labor of 2014, and the cost of materials and the cost of labor of 2024, those are two different animals. So those are the things which we have to face with, which we are faced with, which must be resolved. So that's why what I'll do, I don't know how the majorities are standing in the provincial legislature, but I know that the biggest party is, of course, the ANC, and then the second is the DA. The third is what? Are you sure? The third, let us put them numerical. First, ANC, second, DA, third, AFF, fourth, or others is Freedom Fund, FF, ATM, MK is here. MK and ACT. We've got only 6 parties. All right. No, it's clear. And then what I'll do, I'll start first with the DA. I don't know whether there are any apologies which were directed to you, Chairperson, Provincial Whip. Any apologies? Because I don't see DA here.
Chair, I think we did not receive any apologies because remember the briefing was indicated to be the briefing of the the permanent delegates, and then the MPs and other stakeholders like the MECs and the Premier might join us if they are available, but this meeting is necessarily ours. So there is no need for us to check the availability of anyone. Those who are joining us, they can join us, but it is not like compulsory for them to be here. Yes. And again, we're not necessarily representing each other as parties here. We are representing each other as MPs and MPLs. Yes, Chair.
Honorable Tan.
Thank you, Honourable House Chair. Maybe just, Madam Provincial, if I don't know, we were in the car, so Mare did have Honourable Igor. He had to take an early flight. The whole DA delegation has a NCOP MPL network in Cape Town this weekend, so that's why they are all absent. But I think Maret can just confirm that.
Maret, would you please?
That Honourable Skeerkogel attended an apology.
Thank you. Oh, apology. No, that's fine.
Also, Chair, my apologies. The Premier is also on her way. She will be joining us just now, but she indicated that she won't be long with us. She had to rush to Gauteng as well. Yeah.
Thank you. So basically, we have two apologies from Honorable Igor and the Premier, and then with
the last one, Chair.
All right, I would.
There's another apology that will, I don't know if I'm also putting in Honorable Sigwebela in this one, but we'll be attending soon the chairperson's panel meeting of the Free State Legislature, so we'll request to leave a bit early.
Thank you. So what I'll do then, I'll request the AFF and the ANC to give, they are here in the legislature, there are political parties. On the side of the NCOP, we're just delegates. So that's why I'll give them a chance around that, because the issue might be delegates, but to have a political identity. So I'll request the AFF just to make his input and overview of the entire program as it unfolded. I don't know. Is the coach the one who's coaching everyone?
No, thank you very much. I think from our side as the EFF, we extend our heartfelt thank you to the entire delegation of the NCOP for effective oversight that was conducted here. We, however, have fewer reservations, I think, which we must raise and they must form part of the report. I think first, perhaps we have a issue here oversight. It should be an oversight, and members of the provincial legislature should not be made to feel like it's a mistake for them to be there, and they must form an integral part of the oversight in their province. They must have a sense of what is happening in their provinces, particularly the projects. It's infrastructure that were initiated perhaps by the national government, and they must be embraced. And the issue here, NCOP, which this posture must rise on it sharply, that it started to sound like some sort of an overseer of the legislative arm of the Free State, and that notion, I think it must be dealt with the harshest way possible, that we are equals in this game and we have the same interest. So no member of NCOP should come here and tell us that they perhaps should conduct oversight over the entire legislative arm of the Free State. That notion is wrong, and we don't take lightly of it. It portrays the entire legislature of the Free State as people who are useless, not knowing what they are doing, in fact lazy and not doing anything at all without necessarily diving into it. Have you conducted oversight here, and how much have you gone into it? And if so, what is the information you have? So NCOP, we would like to work with them, and we have the longest of time, I think, working with them in the future. So our relations should be stabilized as early as now. And that's the first one. That supervisor mentality, I think it must be dealt with. And the second one is the conduct itself. Perhaps I must indicate that I feel a part of the NCOP, and I think NCOP must feel also as a part of the Free State Legislature, because we are having the same interest, same provincial interest, whether we are passing legislation, whether we are conducting oversight, but it's the same interest. Now, when the conduct of some of us in front of officials leaves less to be desired, it also shames some of us. We might come from different political parties, but here, interests are the same. So screaming at each other in front of officials, which are at this time, at this era, juniors, also deals with the credibility of certain executive members who are part of this legislature, ordinary members of the legislature. So such a behavior must be dealt with the harshest way possible. And I'm raising this sharply such that, and this is the reason why we spent a moment, we should have rushed to the chairperson's panel, but we thought if we remain quiet on this one, I think it brings a certain disrepute to legislature. And then lastly, I'm not so sure, Chair, I wanted to, I was hoping that the members of the executive would have been here, at least from the municipal level. Like you indicated, some of these projects are shared, provincial level, and of course I'm not so sure when you conduct oversight, I realize that we are at times reduced to officials when we need some level of political yes, and at some point that shame, it seems like people are not taking oversight serious. In fact, they're defying it. Our sole duty as legislature is to exercise oversight over executive, not over each other, over executive. But if executive is not there, some harsh measures must be taken. Now, I don't even want to understand it when it's just the Free State Legislature. What more if there is now NCOP? It gives a bad impression altogether. So I'm just sorry that I had to come in first before the arrival of the Premier, that she must be firm on I mean, it does not really make sense. And I was very much embarrassed when some of this executive did not even have a clue of some of the projects that are going on in their own sphere. So I think from the side of the EFF, those are just but minor issues that we wanted to raise. However, I would like to thank you very much, and I think we will work together in future to ensure that Free State becomes a better province. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, the coach. And then I'll allow the Honorable Zama on the other side to input on the side of the ANC in the legislature.
Thank you, Chair. We have come to a conclusion of this visit. I think most of the sentiments that have been expressed by Honorable Dipoku. But perhaps what we need to look into in the future is the matter of how the communication or the organizing team. Because I'm saying this because you'd find that some of the projects that you would have to attend to, their way scattered, and you spend much more time, 40 to 45 minutes of traveling. Perhaps we need to look at that when we identify the projects that needs to be visited. And we might find that as the legislature, we're going to just adopt, and then we've started this month with the portfolio committee work on oversight, but we have not went to oversight in terms of the projects. Perhaps checking with the legislature to assist so that we don't repeat the same work. Maybe we go to one project and as the committee, and then the NCOP visit the same project as well. So we need to refine that. And the other issue perhaps that we need to look into, let's just try to, I'm aware that the MECs, they received certain particular communique, and when the program, and we have the program. So what is expected from the program and what is expected from the MC clashes? Perhaps we need to streamline that. There must just be a synergy in between the communique to the MEC and the program itself, so that they know what is expected of them, so that when they arrive here, we don't ask them that we were supposed to prepare 1 and 2 and 3 according to the program, but the letter says something different. Perhaps we need to refine that, but perhaps in the future, those are the things that we need to look into. Other sentiments, they've been expressed by Honorable Coach, and I'm quite aware that I would not know of other members of the ANC that not, but they were very unhappy and unsatisfied with how the proceedings were unfolding and some of the comments that were faced with during the process. But it's something that is fixable, so that we can work together to ensure that the work of the oversight is realized and we do all the work all together. Thank you.
All right, thank you, honorable members of the provincial legislature. And then you just, because the EFF, the Honorable Dipuko said that they have to go to a meeting of this thing, but let's just respond a little bit around those issues. I don't know, does anyone want to take around that? I see Honorable Takwa. Oh, they're leaving now. So we are not saying anything. All right, if it's like that then, because they are leaving, what I will say is that we really appreciate your feedback. Remember, this is the first provincial week which we had. And then I like, I'm a Shubi boy, Shubi. Amashubi azokutshela kahle ukuthi liqhoshwa libhekile. Even if the eye is open, but something will get inside the eye. So certain things will have happened without control. You know, this is the first time. But what I liked most is that you are committing yourself, honorable MPLs, that you'll be part of the future programs, because we are doing all these things on behalf of the people of the Free State. And then also have to emphasize that when we look back at the Constitution, the NCOP cannot oversight the legislation. That one is clear. But what is critical out of that is that the legislature must be able to do its job as per Constitution. As we have gone to all these projects, we'll expect, as I said when I opened here, it is the portfolio committees of the legislature which must take this thing forward. Also, what is raised by Honorable Zama is that it is very critical. That's why what we have expected, because we did communicate earlier, so that there must be synergy between both the NCOP and the so that we don't repeat the very same projects again, because we only attended 2 regions. We have other three regions which we didn't touch. So it means that when we come for the oversight week, we cannot go to the same. No, when in the future provincial week, we cannot go to the same projects again. It means that we must touch other regions. But what is critical here is that you did see, you are going to get a report, the final report, and then you do accordingly. You will execute the job which you are supposed to be doing. As I said, that on behalf of the delegates of the NCOP, if you felt offended in any other way, I say we're sorry. We're sorry, we'll do better next time. There'll be better communication as we move forward. But as Abesuta, I like it, Bonavare, again. Yeah, in common was 4. Yeah, our pool pass. You want 4 legs. Yeah, and then it still goes down. So who are you? Who are we with 2 legs? So who are we with 2 legs? So I think that I like the spirit of genuine land or raising of the issues. I think that what must happen then is that even before you leave, because I don't know, honorable delegates, this is our report. We are still going to process it. This one we should provide that within the NCO2, I think is the interim report. But we must still sit down and then enumerate the things which I think must be there. Because there are serious omissions which are there, which I saw, which I think that we must agree with it so that we feed them into the report. I don't know, as the Prima was said that she's also going to leave for Gauteng. I don't know, just before the two MPLs, before they leave, the Prima can say. All right, Honorable Jamin.
Thanks, Chair. Maybe before we give the Premier an opportunity, I think it's also important for one to make an input before the two honorable members will leave the meeting to another meeting because they have requested to leave. Let us welcome their feedback to us, and we shall correct where things did not go well. However, we must indicate that maybe before we come here, maybe it will be important that moving forward, Chair and the permanent delegates, we allow we get a feedback or information as to whether this August House did sit before our arrival as the NCOP to process our visit here. Because in the letters that we wrote to relevant stakeholders, including the Honorable Speaker of the House, we indicated the purpose of our visit and how our visit will be conducted. Then maybe during briefing session as well, we shall be able to iron out the how part of the execution of the program of the NCOP, so that we don't find ourselves having some misunderstanding in a way that really sometimes or to some extent offend other honorable members, so that our work here as the NCOP, it is clarified to all members of the August House before we even start the process in the program. But whatever they have raised, we have heard it, but it never have any intention of the NCOP members to be bosses of anyone or supervisors of anyone. The only emphasis that was happening was that our program has to be executed as we have agreed upon in the NCOP meetings and in the meeting of the delegation. That is what maybe made us to have those hassles and hurdles and misunderstanding in the process. But as to how the NCOP program will be unfolding moving forward, that should be clarified before we even start, Chair, with our meeting or with our program, Chair, so that we are clarified with each other. We don't have loggerheads unnecessarily, because indeed we are one team. But at the same time, when we are one team, each team given a certain responsibility. So we were given a certain responsibility and guidance on how the program should unfold. So maybe that is what the part that was not clarified between us and the legislature, but I'm saying moving forward, it will be clarified, Chair, and everybody will be clear as and when we kickstart with the program as to how the program will unfold, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Dlamini. I'll just like to give now the permanent delegates. I'm going to give you a shorter time, because what is going to happen, we're going to have our own session again. But I just want to just give you an indication of your overview of the program, the way it unfolded. So I'll do it the way I did with the provincial legislature. I'll start with Honorable Makesini, the birthday girl, of course, and then followed by Honorable Tami, and then the last one will be Honorable Nue. Over to Honorable Makesini. You know, she's 16 years today. She's 16.
No, thank you very much. I think the political parties that have spoken, they have given the direction. Indeed, you are one team. That is why you are delegate nominated by the legislature to represent the province. Hence, every time again, our mandate is to make sure the interests of the province are catered in the national sphere of government. And with the cooperation of all of us, We'll have to improve on that. Our leader anyway of the special delegate is the Premier. So time and again, as we come and we send a program with the legislature, we'll work together. And I think that it was the first program, the next program we need to improve. And we did on behalf of the Ncop, where we are wrong, we really apologize. Thank you very much.
Thank you, birthday girl. And then the next one is Honorable Tammy.
Thank you, Chairperson. You know, the people who know me well say you don't give me a microphone because she might take long, but I will promise I will be as short. Timing, it's good. No, Chairperson, firstly, I think I would like to thank Maret and the staff of both Parliament and the Legislature for their efforts, for their trouble they went to with creating this program. And I drove with Maret, so I saw the continuous interaction she had with the relevant HODs and DGs. So firstly, I would like to commend that. Secondly, I would like, and sorry, Honourable Fighter, I missed your name, but I really liked what he said, and I agree that at the end of the day, we are teammates, the legislature and the Ncop, and that we need to work together. And I think what was escalated this week was almost the need of both houses to want to do oversight and to necessarily do oversight, but a miscommunication in terms of who is in charge of the program or who leads the program. And I think that's not to say that one is more important than the other, but a need to find that synergy, and that's important. Then I would like to, I think it was good that we actually went to these projects that the AGSA flagged, but I think what is important, and for me, three things that I would like to say, or two things rather, is number one, I think it is absolutely disgraceful that, for example, municipalities where it was a municipal function, like the Provincial piggery, like the taxi rank, that they could not avail an HOD or somebody. Even with the Botshabelo Waterworks, they availed an MMC, and he was not given the necessary information, so he could not assist us. And that is very bad, and that needs to be looked at, because I think, and I would agree with my honourable fighter to my left, is that the HODs, the DGs do not, that they do not understand the seriousness of these oversights, and I don't like their disregard for the process of oversight, because that is hampering us. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, which I would like to see, which I think is very important, as Honourable House Chair you mentioned, we will not be going back to Machabeng and to Mangaung in future provincial weeks. But what I think is important, and what we need to consider, is to, at the start of next provincial week, to get feedback on these projects, to keep the departments to account. So to first do that, maybe, for example, this was our first session, so we had a whole day of briefings, and I don't necessarily say we need a Monday and a Tuesday of briefings. I haven't figured that out yet in my head, but what I think is important to have a first session report back, and then a second session where we then get the information on the new sites we are going to attend, to continually keep ourselves updated. And Chairperson, I would leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You are very conservative today, indeed, with time. It's highly appreciated. The next one is Honorable Nue.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Premier, and everyone else. I was looking at the screen here when the chairperson was talking. I see it reflects Premier. And I was not sure. Chair, I just want to make a few comments too. One is to appreciate and align myself with all the positive and observations of the other colleagues that have already said. Chair, I want to comment one on firstly appreciating that the fact that we are here to make an oversight, and having identified the projects that were identified, it simply proves that there is intention to do work. However, what came out, it is clear that there are gray areas that definitely needs to be attended. For me, in the main, is how contractors are appointed. The how part, it's merely to ensure that a thorough investigation has been done about the contractor that will be appointed. Sometimes it's like the contractors which were appointed based on the feedback we have. It's not necessarily the contractor that is the company that is being appointed. Sometimes you look at Noe and how eloquent he or she presents himself during the interview, and the papers that are put forward before the adjudication committee, and then you begin to believe that this company will deliver, only to find on the ground later on it gives a different feedback. There's a need to attend on that area. And then secondly, Chair, is the publicity of the visit itself. I'm not sure whether it was really done enough. What I saw on the first day, I would have expected somehow maybe we will have had a full house of the community. And also to indicate that I got a feedback, and I want to read it here from a member of the public. Fortunately, he is one of the esteemed public servants of the past who happened to be my mentor during my days as a public servant and later on as a public representative, and some members within here, but I will not mention it. It reads as follows, Chair. Morning, Noe. What is the purpose of the Ncop visits? They come year in and year out to collect problems and challenges, but there is never feedback about the previous ones to communities. And that is the feedback I got from a member, I will call now a member of the party. And I wanted to go into the report because it will help us also going forward. Finally, Chair, Honorable Premier, I want to put this statement, as I'm here getting communication from home, I got a feedback that as I'm sitting here, there is a serious protest, especially on the road that's going to my home, to Mnonza. For the past 2 days, there has not been electricity. Firstly, I was told there was a transformer that has exploded. And it seems that has not yet been attended. So I might reach home, I might not reach home when I reach here. I don't know what is the situation. But beyond me and my area per se, I just want to say, Honorable Premier, I don't know how far is the ESCOM and Maludia Putting agreement to be implemented. But the longer it is delayed, the longer it affects the issue of electricity provision as far as Maludia Putting is concerned. And the more it will give negative feedback to government as far as general service delivery is concerned. We are moving forward on the other area. There's only one element that keeps on, erasing all the good things that are being done. I just wanted to put that forward, Honorable. And thank you very much.
No, thank you, Honorable Nue. I think now we're coming towards the end of this session here. But of course, we cannot close this session without giving the Premier a chance to reflect on the visit of SEP, on what she experienced when she was interacting with us. But I think that we are very lucky that we have an activist premier. You can see that ever since she took over, she's on the ground. She's on the ground all over. What I liked when she went to Bongani Hospital some time back, it was so great that she reprimanded them very strongly. But I think that's what is needed, because at the end of the day, we're not doing these things on our behalf. We're doing it on behalf of our communities. So because if really we don't do that as the public representatives, we must as well close shop. Because on the day, the people are going to lose confidence in the democratic system of the country. This country will be in serious trouble. But I think that is the work of each and every individual public representative to show that we are with the people on the ground. But I felt with this visit, wherever we went, the people warmly welcomed us, and then that's what must be sustained. And when they saw the premier there, they were adulating, which is good. So, Premier, you can reflect, but we're really appreciative that you were with us throughout. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you, honorable members, Ncop, members of the legislature, Chairperson. My apologies that I have to come as I'm preparing for Joburg, so I had some few consultations. But from what you've just presented, Chairperson, let me just take this opportunity really to appreciate your visit, and it was worth it. And you raised a very important issue of how do we really publicize your visits. And it's very important that we educate our communities as well, that how to participate here. And I promise you, the next visit will make sure that my office is here, the liaison officer is here, is listening as well. We set people in such a way that we got dates, and we invite stakeholders, all of us as multi-party committees. We allocate perhaps a number to say from EFF, we are expecting you, so that we have people here who can listen and understand your role. And at the same time, the issue here important in the thing, feeding back. And those who went through my SOPA, and even previously when I was still in the MEC, I used to challenge all the representatives. So let's give our people feedback, whether it's negative. Let us not impress people. We only want to go to people and tell people things that will make them rejoice. But we are not telling people realities. And when you tell people the truth, they'll even sympathize with you when there are challenges. Other than just going to people, impress them. And that is my motto. Even in the EXO, I told them, people, we are not going to go to people, listen to them. When you are supposed to go back and say, look, there's no money for this. Indeed, we promised this, but we can't do it. I receive messages every morning where people are asking for this and that, assistance on this. I'll make an example when we're discussing Marumo Gallant issue here. At some point, they believe that they'll get money from government. I had to call them and say that we are not sponsors as government. Tell people the truth, then they know the truth. Other than, no, let's meet next week, let's do this, as if there's something that you're going to give to people. I don't believe in that, honorable members. I'm saying, tell people the truth, whether walla, but harobala, in the morning when he wakes up, he'll be able to say, but that one told me the truth, because this thing is not going to happen. This morning I received a SMS, I'm trying to go through. This lady says, Premier, can you assist me with food, transport? I got internship in Gauteng. And I asked her, do you know how much internship, how much are you going to be paid? It's stipend, it's national. Yes, it's 6.5. I'm saying, okay, I pay you accommodation now and transport and food. How are you going to survive? And she's a female. And I said, I don't want to contribute in your destruction, because tomorrow you'll be in Gauteng, you won't have accommodation, you'll end up being vulnerable, and people might take advantage of your situation. And I said, please remain here. I have just signed about 116 or 126 internship in education. And I called Memabuya. Memabuya said, no, just send her to my office. Other than taking this poor lady to, and she very said, but what if I lose this one and you don't appoint me? She's a graduate. I said, there is no way I can assure you that we are going to appoint you. So we need to be that kind of leadership that is able to tell people the truth and be able to guide them as well. On the issue of map, ESCOM, we are working on ESCOM that they know. But the problem as well in Malutia Pofu is the level of crime that is there. It's true that you can put the systems in place today. There are those people who got interest there of making money. It's like now when you can say, no, Lesotho Waters, Yakwal, everybody will have a truck all of a sudden. Everybody will be a service provider all of a sudden. It's it's equal to the issue of water. I'm from Malutia Pofu myself and Tate side. People want to claim from that municipality. Nobody's counting tankers. Nobody's monitoring how many trucks have gone to this area. Why can't a fella, you just send an invoice? So we really need to bring up a mechanism still, or they are going to prohibit this kind of behavior in our province for us to really deliver as members of both legislature and yourself at national government at large. And I'm working on that, and definitely we'll be able to give you that kind of response. There's also a promise. For now, it's a promise. It should be noted, where there'll be an intervention by the Chinese government to identify some of municipalities that owes a lot of money, and that told her how can they rescue some of those municipalities. So engagements are ongoing. As I'm saying, I'm traveling to do part of the discussion. It's on the very same matter. Yeah, the Chinese, they're having their function this evening. We just want to wrap up that issue. And on the contractors, I think I did indicate when we were on the site that the problem is this issue of CIDB, but after what we have noticed, I think I indicated to HODs that we'll have to convene a meeting of all supply chain managers or supply chain components in all the departments so that we engage them on these matters. And I can tell you there was a time when one contractor, and the problem of politicians that we are limited. Remember this thing here, supply chain. Once you get into that space, you are seen as somebody who's got an interest. But I'm telling you, that's what destroyed government, because it's like we don't have a say. I think we must really find a way of making sure that we do have a say. These people, not that you interfere, but they must come and present. I'll make an example. They know what it is. We had an event in Botshabelo recently, GBV. I said, DG, you bring that supply chain here. They must come and account. Guess what I found? This person, there's somebody who needs to be paid 800,000. And I said, no. For that event, what is it? Communication. Then you include all Setsoto, even the radio station that I don't even know, Tabanchu, what. But the event is meant for Mangawu. Why do you bring in Wate and Setsoto and what? And the question was, if I didn't do that, what was going to happen? We would have lost 800,000. Once we got people who are, imagine now, this communication, these people are taking pictures here, who are assisting us with the videos, who are imaging, that man could have helped them at least. But here's the person, when you look at the documents, they've been approved already, but when I look at the documents, these people, others are not even registered for tax, but it's Nue. Nue collected the information of all these other radio stations, and then you become now an agent for all those people. I stopped that on our members. I said, no ways. If we got Lesedi, it's enough. If we got Tike Musupatzela, we're enough, because it's meant for Mangawu. But you can imagine if people have listed constant, what, who's going to listen to that? Because we said these events are going to rotate to all districts. So, meaning if we allow that, we'll use 800 times 5. Because in every area where we go, this person will do that. And when you look at these other people, haba register even haba register for tax, but because it's new, you're going to give them 10. So we really need to be put our hands on deck to deal with this. If I didn't do what we did in community safety, roads and transport, as well, because there'll always be whistleblowers. But if you don't take those things serious, there was a time where one contractor submitted letters, and I said to them, but do you verify these letters around functionality? Guess what? When you look at the letterhead of this person, essentially skewed. It's a cut and paste. People don't verify with a, if I got a letter of reference, you don't call that particular municipality or that particular province to check as whether this person did perform this job. Now, it's an example of where we went. If we were that government that could communicate, we would be able to have identified that this man is now in KZN. So we really need to find a way, and Lona at the level of Ncop, as you engage us, also make them aware that there's a need really to verify, because officials who are in the office, they can type a letter and say, Machabalala, perform this work worth so much. But we don't even ask for bank statements to prove that this person indeed did the work and he was paid or she was paid this amount of money. So we really need to get supporting documents that will assist us. My last one, it's on the emphasis, I don't think you've already touched on it, the issue of making sure that the Free State economy grows. My statement is clear, my mandate is clear to all executives. Let's utilize the services of the Free Staters. Indeed, it's not proper to say no, close others, because country constitution does not allow us to do that. But at least let's give people of Free State a chance to perform, to prove themselves. And as we raise some issues here as members of the legislature to say, no, we need people with financial muscle. Our people don't have that financial muscle. Ours is to unlock the financial institutions and make sure that they assist our people to grow. We cannot have these companies, there's a company A1, it's in the country. Until to date, we still have that. We should be able to say in this 7th administration, we had about 4 people that grew in the Free State who got this kind of job, and then they managed to grow and be at the level where they can contest. Because remember, when these people who have been in the industry for a long period of time, they can't contest with these ones that are emerging. Because in terms of financial muscle, they do, the equipment, this one still have to go and hire equipment for them to perform the. So you'll always find that when they quote, these ones are higher, and then these ones are cheaper. They are cheaper because already for the past 10 or 3 decades, 4 decades, they have equipment, they don't hire, they insource, everything that they're doing, their machines are from the companies. So those are the other issues that we really need to look at as we intend to empower our people, honorable members. Because if it's a jalo, I'm telling you, we'll turn the Free State economy around. Because now we end up looking at people from outside. And the last one, Chairperson, I'm really intending to make sure that we change. Okase it's a change, and then you expect a change. If for the past 10 years we were challenged, we're faced with what you've seen, 10 contracts for 10 years and so on, why do we have to keep the same people in the same positions, fighter? Why? Why do we have to do that? So we must move people around, and that program of mine, unfortunately, for those who don't like it, is continue. Even now, I've just signed one letter. I'll keep on signing letters, changing people, even in different components, not only HODs. We must change even the supply chains where people feel in those components. Relocate from Batu location by a Blumanda. That's what we need to do for us to have an impact on the lives of the people in the Free State. That thing is so simple. You got a contractor, but we can't change the lives of the really, thank you, honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this Honorable Premier. Well, you know why, Honorable Mandy, I'm saying Speaker, because I'm sitting on a Speaker's seat. There's a coup here, so it's going to my head. So without further ado, we really appreciate the input made by the Premier here, even the respect which Chef did show to us and the commitment to the Constitution. Because as I said when I opened here, that the issue of intergovernmental relations framework is very critical. That's why national, province, and local must work together in order to improve the lives of the people. There's no one who's better than the other one. I think that even this issue of change is very critical, Prima, which you are saying. I remember, I did natural science in my other life. Albert Einstein once said, if you do the same thing again and expect a different result, you must be mad. You must be mad. So it means that in order for us to bring change, this is the seventh administration. The seventh administration cannot be the same as the sixth or the first administration. I think that that change must come. And the people who are given the mandate to bring this change are the people around this table. Those who are in the province, in the provincial legislature, those who are in the national legislature, those people who are in the municipalities, they also have to play that role. Thanks, Honorable Premier, with this succinct words which you have uttered. But we are really concluding the program now. I'll request the leader of the delegation. I might be the chairperson, house chairperson there, but in this program I'm led by the provincial whip. So provincial whip, you let us reflect on your experience, whether we're naughty or we're supportive or we gave you a headache, whatever it is. But I'm not coming back. I think we must close the proceedings forever. Thank you, Honorable Provincial Whip.
Asibonge Baba Khadebe. Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair, and Honorable Premier for joining us, Honorable permanent delegates, and I think there's only Honorable one member left of the provincial legislature because others tendered their apologies. Honorable Premier, let me firstly send, on behalf of the team, the special gratitude, thankfulness to you, the Honorable Speaker in his absence, Honorable Chief Whip in his absence, because you indeed supported us when we indicated that as the NCOP we are going to visit your province and what is it that we are going to do. You also ensured that all the stakeholders that we expected to be here were here from the briefing session up until the oversight exercise. We are only indeed deeply disappointed by the Mangaung Metro Municipality because indeed the executive mayor joined us in terms of the briefing. We're expecting him or anyone whom he can delegate to join us when we conduct oversight, but that did not happen. So we're hopeful that working together with yourself and the municipality, we shall have to correct that moving forward, because the two projects that we were supposed to conduct an oversight over, we couldn't because we did not have the necessary information, and that really hindered in our work as the NCOP. Chair, also I would like to thank all the honorable members of the Free State Provincial Legislature who joined us in the program from the briefing session up until the program. I think, Honorable Premier, there were concerns raised by honorable members from the provincial legislature's point of view in terms of how the program was conducted. However, I gave those members assurance that moving forward, before we even come here as the NCOP execute the program, we shall have to make sure that you yourself and other presiding officers, you take along honorable members on how the program will unfold. And also when we arrive here, before we even start meeting anyone, as the permanent delegates, we might have to meet the presiding officers of this legislature so that we outline how we are going to process the program, because at the end of the day, we might all be one house, we might be one thing, but there has to be the person or the people who are presiding over a program and ensuring that the program do unfold in a manner in which it's supposed to unfold. However, where we have really touched each other's toes badly, it was not intentional, it was nothing else wrong or bad, or intentionally want to show that we are the bosses. No, we know that we are not the bosses. We are here to do the work, but we are doing the work per the mandate and responsibilities that we are given as different stakeholders. That is what has happened. No one was showing off his or her power upon anyone. But at the end of the day, there has to be a leader who was leading the process and the program so that the program premier can unfold in a manner in which it was supposed and meant to be unfolding premier. There was nothing personal. And I don't think, unfortunately, honorable member left, I don't think, Chair, there is anything to be corrected harshly by anyone. Because there is nothing harshly happened. The miscommunication that was there, moving forward, it will be addressed so that all of us, we know and understand our role, different roles that we are having to participate and undertake. But we are happy as the NCOP with the warm welcome, the support from all stakeholders. We are truly humbled, and this is exactly the report premier that we have presented this morning, even before we come to this debriefing as the permanent delegates, to say, Tina at home, we were welcomed very well, and we worked very well. We knew it that the in-house issues, we shall deal with them when we are alone, but there are no issues that we can say we can report to anyone. Those misunderstandings can be able to correct them on our own, but we shall have to really strengthen how do we conduct our visit in the program and in a province so that we don't have this same misunderstanding and touching toes of each other unnecessarily. So, Honorable Premier. So please pass our gratitude to the Honorable Speaker that we really thankful and truly humbled by your welcome. So we shall work together, Premier, and assist each other. The only emphasis that we would like to make as the NCOP is that please let us ensure that as the provincial legislature, we strengthen the sitting of our portfolio committees so that we are able to process other things that we have to process as the provincial legislature of Free State, especially that exercise premier will assist us as the NCOP to have a clue from the honorable chairs of the committees as well, the chairpersons of the committees, when we arrive here to say, Nati as the chairpersons of different committees, we indeed conducted our own work before you come here, and this is our observation, this is how we think we can move forward. That will also ease our work as the NCOP, and strengthen each other to say, okay, at least our other wing, which is the provincial legislatures, portfolio committees, they are doing their work so that when we come, we meet each other way, not necessarily asking each other questions or holding each other questions when we have to conduct oversight, but rather to say how best can we do it, because all of us, we are on par on issues. We are born. So those are the things that we are going to correct moving forward. But there is no train smash. We learn every day, colleagues. We learn in life. We learn at work. No one is super better than the other. We shall hold each other's hand as the representative of our people who elected us to be here. We are one thing and we shall be one thing moving forward. Thank you very much. Our stay here was very nice. We are truly humbled and thankful. And we also want to thank the media who was with us. I want to thank them because they were here, because they are Free Staters who are also concerned like us. Even how Premier, they were asking questions. You could see that these people really want justice for their own province. They are not grandstanding. They are not doing anything to try and expose anything, but rather to say things are not right. What can we do together as all different stakeholders to correct our province, because we all belong in this province and we love it. We'd like to thank the media from the NCOP point of view, and we wish them well, and then we shall avail ourselves as and when they need us for interviews, so that we can provide feedback, information to our people, because we know that it's through them that our people can know what is it that we are doing in these August houses that are different, whom we are serving at. Other than that, Chair, Honorable Chair, angithi mina ngibongile hle. And re sebeditse hantle even though ka thata re kgathetse. Indeed, in future, we shall have to consider how we structure our projects in terms of the visit, so that we even allow honorable members to can, have a proper oversight on each and every project, because sometimes highlighting many projects defeat the purpose of the oversight, then limit the interventions and what the members want to find out in different programs, because now we are rushing to the next one. So in future, we might have to consider, as well as the NCOP, that we have limited projects, so that we give it all of us, Premier. So that is what we are regarding as a shortfall from our side as the NCOP, but we are going to correct it moving forward, because it's one of the party that was making us to have this, challenges, because now we are rushing after time. We want to touch base on every project that we have identified, so that when we give feedback to the NCOP, we said we have done it all. But in future, we have learned that we must done it all, but done it proper to produce results. So that is what we are going to do moving forward. Thank you very much, all of us, honorable members. These meetings are adjourned and closed. We shall see each other in the near future. Thank you.
Ma'am, can I just say something? You said the media, and I think it's very pertinent. There is a member of the media here called Mariki Gereke. She has been a journalist for many, many years and has written for Bloemnieuws and Volksblad about the issues troubling the Free State, and she is retiring at the end of this month. So I think her continued effort and to be the voice and to give what we say out to the media. So yes, thank you, Mariki, and enjoy your retirement.
Members,